Welcome to Your Dose of Wowness. Okay, picture this. It's 1795. Three teenagers are just wandering around a remote island off the coast of Nova Scotia, and they stumble across this weird circular depression in the ground. Naturally, they start digging, and what they find isn't just a hole. It's a meticulously engineered shaft. Every 10 feet down, they hit a solid platform of logs, purposefully placed. They make it down to about 30 feet before they're forced to stop. The next group, they push down to 90 feet, hit a mysterious inscribed stone, and then, boom, the shaft completely floods with seawater. And here's the crazy part. It has flooded every single time anyone has tried to dig there ever since. There is a massive, complex system of tunnels connecting that shaft directly to the sea. It was engineered, apparently, to absolutely destroy any attempt to reach the bottom. We're talking 230 years, and no one, literally nobody, has managed to beat this system. The search is actually still going on today. Welcome to Oak Island.
Let's look at how this all started to unfold. That original 1795 dig by Daniel McGinnis and his buddies, that was all just grueling manual labor, hitting those log platforms at 10 feet, then 20 feet, then 30. They simply didn't have the heavy equipment to keep going, so they had to abandon it. But the mystery was already out there. So, almost a decade later, in 1804, the Unsolved company shows up. They're an organized syndicate, right? They push the dig all the way down to 90 feet. And that is exactly when the terrifying reality of this pit rears its head. Overnight, the entire shaft rapidly fills with water. Skip ahead to 1850, and the Truro company finally figures out exactly why. This wasn't just some unlucky groundwater streak. No, they discovered an insanely intricate system of man-made flood tunnels.
90 feet. I really want you to focus on that number for a second. What actually happened right before that water rushed in? Well, at exactly 90 feet down, the Onslow Company's tools struck a flat stone. And this wasn't just some random rock. It had a strange, completely unreadable inscription carved right into it. It was a marker. A warning, maybe? Because the absolute second they pulled that stone up, the trap sprang. The Atlantic Ocean essentially swallowed the shaft, filling it all the way up to the 33-foot mark and completely erasing the bottom. You've got to appreciate the sheer, terrifying brilliance of this 18th century engineering. This flood system operates like a perfect, deadly machine. Step 1, you dig below 90 feet, which breaches the pressure seal. Step 2, seawater forcefully breaches the shaft. Step 3, you scramble to pump the water out, but you are literally fighting the entire Atlantic Ocean. The pumping completely fails against that massive hydraulic pressure. And finally, step 4, the water level stabilizes at exactly 33 feet, which matches the island's tide perfectly. The Truro Company unraveled this whole mechanism back in 1850. Over at a nearby beach called Smith's Cove, they uncovered 5 finger drains, these underground channels packed with beach stones and, incredibly, imported coconut fiber. All 5 of these drains converged into one massive tunnel aimed straight at the money pit. The whole thing was designed specifically to ruin anyone who dared to dig too deep. Now, this brings up a fascinating tension between human ingenuity and natural geology. I mean, what are we actually looking at here? Is this some 17th century hydraulic security system built by a massive navy to protect unimaginable wealth? Or is it just a natural anhydrite karst formation? See, back in 1965, a geologist named Robert Dunfield excavated the island and concluded that Oak Island's bedrock is actually made of gypsum and anhydrite. That kind of rock dissolves in water. It naturally forms sinkholes and underground cave systems. He basically argued that these so-called flood tunnels are nothing more than natural dissolution channels, which would mean this whole thing is just a completely natural, terribly expensive geological accident. But, geologists can say whatever they want because this mystery has this magnetic, almost obsessive pull that completely ignores logic. And one of the guys pulled right into its orbit? A 27-year-old who would eventually become the 32nd president of the United States. Yup, in 1909, decades before he'd lead the country through the Great Depression and World War II, Franklin D. Roosevelt actually invested in the Old Gold Salvage Group. He traveled all the way up to Nova Scotia, he planned, he poured his own money into a flooded hole in the ground, he kept up a lifelong obsession with it, actually. And, just like everybody else, he never found a single thing. And FDR wasn't the only big name caught in this island's trap. Huge Hollywood titans like John Wayne and Errol Flynn dumped money into Oak Island's syndicates throughout the 20th century. Everyone, and I mean everyone, falls victim to this perpetual just one more year mindset. Every group eventually runs out of money, totally convinced they are literally one dig away from the vault.
Today, that torch is being carried by Rick and Marty Legina. They bought a controlling interest back in 2006 and turned their dig into the massive History Channel series, The Curse of Oak Island. So this isn't just ancient history, it's entirely present tense. They've got way better technology than anyone before them, but you know what? The island is still fighting back.
Now, the urgency of Oak Island isn't just about money or lost treasure. It's measured in human lives. 6 people have died trying to beat the system. In 1861, a boiler exploded right at the money pit during a frantic, desperate pumping operation, killing an unnamed worker. He was the first. Then, in 1897, a man named Maynard Kaiser was working down in the shaft during a huge Victorian-era dig. He lost his footing and he fell to his death. This island extracts a very real, very heavy toll on the people who chase its secrets. But honestly, nothing compares to the absolute tragedy of August 17th, 1965. It started with Robert Restall. He was a former circus performer, actually a stunt motorcyclist. He wasn't some wealthy corporate investor in a suit. He was just a guy who believed so deeply in this mystery that in 1959, he moved his entire family into a tiny cabin right there on Oak Island. His wife, Mildred, supported the dream, and they lived there, sifting through the dirt, for 6 long years. Then came that August afternoon. Robert Restall descended into a shaft to check on things, but the enclosed space had quietly filled with deadly, invisible hydrogen sulfide gas. Robert collapsed. His son, Robert Jr., saw his dad go down and didn't even hesitate. He rushed straight into the shaft to save him, and he collapsed too. 2 rescue workers, Cyril Hiltz and Carl Grazier, desperately went in after them, and they perished right alongside the Restalls. 4 men, just gone, in one single afternoon. Mildred Restall was left entirely alone on the island. And the treasure? It was never found. So we really have to step back and look at the cold, hard facts here. After 230 years of digging, millions of dollars spent, and 6 human lives lost, what has actually been produced? What is the confirmed physical evidence? Well, we have coconut fiber found deep underground, and it's been carbon dated to the 13th century. Coconuts definitely do not grow in Nova Scotia, so that was 100% imported. We have pieces of 17th century shaped wood structures found deep down in the shaft, and we have 2 tiny gold links that were brought up by a drill way back in 1849. Honestly, that's kind of it. That is the hard evidence. And stacked up against that, we have mountains of speculation. Pirate treasure, hidden British naval caches, the Ark of the Covenant, even Shakespeare's lost manuscripts. Which brings us to the core philosophical truth of this entire crazy mystery. Really think about this for a second. Most buried treasure is buried so that it can be recovered, right? You hide it to keep it safe while you're away, with the full intention of coming back to dig it up. But the Oak Island shaft, it was not built that way. These flood tunnels don't just temporarily protect the treasure. They are designed to absolutely destroy any attempt to reach it forever. If whoever built this nightmare system intended for the contents to stay permanently buried, then 230 years of searchers have been doing exactly what the builder feared. And right now, the builder's winning.
So I've got to ask you, look at the evidence we just walked through. Is this a brilliant, flawlessly executed 18th century security system designed to protect some unimaginable fortune? Or is it literally the most expensive, tragic, geological accident in human history? Treasure or geology? Knowing the dark history, knowing the incredible cost, and knowing that the icy water is always waiting down there, would you dig?
And that is day 47 on Your Dose of Wowness. Oak Island, a shaft, an unstoppable flood, 6 tragic deaths, 230 years, and still no real answer. The Legina brothers are out there still digging. The island is still flooding every single shaft they sank. FDR tried and failed. The Restall family gave everything, and 4 men died. There is something down there. Maybe. Listen, reaching this 47-day milestone with all of you has been absolutely incredible, and I am so deeply grateful to everyone exploring these wild mysteries alongside me. If these explainers are giving you something real to think about, please hit subscribe. Tomorrow is day 48, and we're heading into the jungle for the lost city of Z. We're talking about a British explorer who vanished without a trace in the Amazon in 1925, hunting for a hidden civilization. His bones have never been found, and neither has the city. That's tomorrow. I'll see you then.